Screw your HOA and its ridiculous rules. Posted by 321 Backup. Back in high school, I was all about my car. Don't get me wrong, it was a rolling POS, but it was my car. It had a trade-in value of maybe like $5, but it was my car. I was learning how to take care of it, by which I mean I found where the dipstick was and how to pull it. I hadn't yet moved on to tire inflation, one step at a time. Anyway, one day after school, I drove over to my friend's place. We jump out, pop the hood, pull the dipstick, check the oil, and it was fine. So we put the hood back down. I had no idea what an HOA was or what it meant. I was just a happy, ignorant teenager, eager to demonstrate how responsible I was with my wheels. A few days go by and we're hanging out at my friend's place when his mom comes home. She starts giving us the business in that "I'm annoyed but trying not to be" voice about a warning she received from the HOA regarding repairing cars in your driveway, complete with the photo of my POS with the hood up. Really, she was being pretty good, though clearly annoyed. Well, we explained that we weren't repairing anything. I was just checking the oil level and I didn't even need any tools. See, the picture just had the hood up. So she softened up quite a bit after that, and the focus of her annoyance shifted from us to the HOA, since it's entirely reasonable for anyone to check the level of oil in a car. Well, she finds a copy of the HOA rules, and we all read them together, and well, sure enough, there's a bylaw that says you can't repair a car in the driveway. I protest that I wasn't repairing anything, I was just checking the oil. Reading the exact rules on exactly what was forbidden sparked an idea. So I look at my friend, raise an eyebrow, and say, "Fight the power? Fight the power." I propose my plan to his mom and ask for permission since she's going to have to deal with the fallout. She's on board since she thinks this is supremely stupid, and we set in motion. Cue the malicious compliance. Every day after school, my friend and I drove our POS machines to his place, parked in their driveway, raised the hoods, and just looked at the engines. No tools, we weren't even near them. We didn't check the oil, we didn't so much as touch them nor wipe them down with a rag. All we did was expose them to the birds, the sky, and God above to just let them breathe. After a while, I got bored, so I started setting up an easel and drawing my engine, 10 minutes at a time. My friend had to one-up me, so he decided he needed some tasteful artistic photos with his engine. He judged the best photos would be him laying over the engine shirtless, stroking and fake kissing it. Just absurd, over-the-top, moronic high schooler stuff. Predictably, the HOA was on us like stink-on crap. The warnings quickly turned into fines, complete with pictures of both vehicles with their hoods up. Then more pictures with mine with its hood up and an easel in front. Then even more pictures with my friend's with his hood up, him laying in the engine compartment and me taking pictures of him with a camera. Soon enough, his mom let us know that it was time for the monthly HOA meeting. Of course, all three of us had to go in person to protest the fines. So the motley pair of us show up along with his mom and his mom's stack of fine notices. I bring along my engine drawing, and we printed some of my friend's engine photos larger than normal. After a while, it was new business time, and my friend's mom steps up. I'm pretty sure they expected her to play the "my son and his friend are morons, please make these fines go away since I don't know what they're doing" sympathy card. Nope, not a chance. She politely, but firmly, attested that she was being sent fines for something that wasn't in the bylaws and asked the board to stop. One of the board members spoke up, saying that working on cars was against the bylaws, and clearly that's what was going on since both the hoods were up. Oh, you should have seen their faces when she corrected them that the bylaw said no repairs were allowed, that there were no repairs going on in any of the pictures since no tools were visible, and that we were just doing art projects for school. Even longer faces were seen when she showed my, truthfully completely terrible, drawing of my engine, along with the date stamped a couple weeks ago pictures. And this was back when film cameras stamped a date directly on the picture, of my friend trying to seduce his engine. The HOA president called for a 5-minute recess, during which the board huddled in a corner of the room. After the recess, the president succinctly said, "Ma'am, we are going to dismiss all your fines. Have a nice evening." We dang near danced out of that meeting. Being the obnoxious crapheads that my friend and I were, we had to do the drawing and photo routine a few more times just to make sure they weren't going to start sending more fines. They wisely didn't, and being victorious, we soon found other ways to annoy them. All of this could have been avoided if they just looked at the pictures and saw, hey, there's no tools. Just because the hood's up doesn't mean it's being worked on. You're allowed by law to look at your car engine. I'm just pretty sure it was like 17 Karens on the board or something, right? Because they didn't get the full picture, they never do. And OP and friend maliciously complied with this malicious compliance, and they rocked it with their cars. Not today, posted by I3I2I. Jump in and hang on, friendly Redditor. This one's kinda long. My apologies. For your troubles, I'll give you 2 MCs for the price of 1. My now ex-boss was hired after me and relied heavily on me to run the department, which I did. Before his arrival, I ran the department by myself and had near complete autonomy. I only answered to the owner and his son. Since I was expected to do everything on my own, I was well versed in the contents of my job description and I followed them to the letter. Once the new boss came on, our department got more responsibility to include other buildings on the property. Since I was previously not responsible for the other buildings, I decided to do an audit and inspection of the buildings just to make sure they were compliant with codes and regulations, blah blah blah. So one of the buildings was seriously non-compliant. They needed to either shut down the building and fix everything, or tear it down completely and start over. Since my job description specifically stated that I was to conduct audits and recommend building closures due to unsafe working conditions, that's exactly what I did, by email to my boss and senior management. Well, my boss had a fit. He said I never should have sent that email, and how dare I tell the owner what to do with his company, and so on and blah blah blah. I told him it was part of my job description, and I showed him the exact sentence. He didn't care, which ticked me off because it was employee safety we were talking about. I made a fairly big stink about how terrible it was that they cared more about the production than they did about safety. I got marched into a conference room with my boss and the HR manager, and they proceeded to berate me for 20 minutes about my unprofessionalism and my insubordination. I asked them how it was possible that I was being insubordinate when I was following my job description. They had no answer for that, and instead said they needed to see an increase in my performance, or else. From that day forward, my boss required me to send him a daily report of every single thing that I did so he could make sure that I was doing my job to his expectation and that I didn't send inappropriate emails to the owner. Malicious compliance number 1. I sent him time-stamped emails for every single thing I did. 0701, read email from person. 0702, replied to person's email. 704, read email from other person. You get the idea. The first day, I sent him 119 emails of things I did, including my use of the bathroom. Now, on to the next. Remember when I said I knew my job description? One of the bullet points stated that I was expected to liaise with outside agencies to conduct inspections of the facilities to ensure compliance with local, state, and federal regulations. One such outside agency was the local fire inspector, who we knew was coming on a Friday. All the way up until Thursday evening, my boss was expecting me to accompany the fire inspector during the inspection. He even reassigned things on my calendar to make sure I was free on Friday morning. Friday morning arrived, and I was getting ready for the fire inspector. My boss came into the office and said, "I need you to hang out in the office today. Other person is going to do the walk with the fire inspector." It caught me by surprise, I'll admit it. I told him that it was specifically part of my job description to do the inspection, and I reminded him that he had recently told me to increase my performance. He said, "You're not doing it." I said, "Is it because you think that I'll report all of the deficiencies and get this place shut down?" No, it's not that at all. Just so I understand that you completely here, you're telling me that you don't want me to do my job. Not today. Here's the second MC, dear Redditor. I sat in my office and played games on my computer the entire day. I also made sure to comply with his daily email requirement at the end of the day. It was the only email I sent. 0730, computer work. 1600 left. This one's nice because this dude went the extra mile and a half by literally every single email documenting. That would take a lot of time and energy and kind of be actually really annoying, but OP knew that he had to do it to get the full malicious compliance in, and then topped it off with a full day of gaming on the back end after he couldn't do the fire inspector, which the boss said to do for his job. It's a double MC with an extra slice of spice on the side. Great job. That's all. Way to go, OP. Roommates set the thermostat to 50 degrees when it's 35 outside, posted by CamoMaster74. For context, I share a 5-bedroom home with 4 other small families. My neighbors are from a Spanish-speaking country and don't know English very well. The language barrier is large between us. The way this house was built in 2015 does not allow for very good ventilation between rooms or floors. Additionally, the HVAC system does not have thermometers in each room. Instead, it's combined with a thermostat, one of which is located in the hall I share with my neighbors. It reads 68 degrees Fahrenheit or 20 degrees Celsius on average, but that's with both bedroom doors closed. Thus, the temperature in either one of our rooms can vary drastically. Since we share a thermostat, you can see where this is going. The landlord has expressed his wishes to keep the thermostat above 60 degrees as long as it's colder than that outside. Easy enough. Open the window when it's hot and close it when it's cold. My desk is next to both of our windows, so that's primarily been my responsibility. Both parties tend to avoid conflict, so we haven't discussed this face to face or even through text. Every so often, my roommate and I will notice that it's uncomfortably hot or cold. Every time we've checked the thermostat, it's been set to either 80 degrees or 50 degrees. Naturally, we set it back to heat around 64 degrees and cool to 70. Apparently, this does not suffice for our neighbors. They have been, over the past month, continuously setting the thermostat back to 50 degrees, even when it's been below 40 degrees outside. But here's the kicker. The AC wasn't even running until yesterday. The air coming out of the vents has been cold because most of our HVAC system is in an uninsulated garage. This knowledge was gifted to us by the landlord, who also doesn't speak Spanish, and he assumed that we would pass the information to our neighbors. Yet again, as predicted, they set the thermostat to 50 degrees. But this time, we let it run like that all night, making sure to grab all the blankets from the shared laundry room. Remember, when the temperature in a room changes while the door is closed, the thermometer can't tell until the door opens. They sleep with their door locked. So, all night, the HVAC system was blowing frigid air into their room. We woke up the next morning with the thermostat set to 66 to 70. Sweet, sweet victory. I know this is petty, but man, oh man, is it nice to have a comfortable temperature to sleep in. Hey, I'm just going to tell you right here, 70 to 72 is the perfect temperature. You can't let it drop to 69, or you can't let it go up to 73 plus. OP knows this, he knows the rules, what he likes, what he doesn't like. They communicated, didn't work out. OP says, hey, well, we're just going to make it right with Frigidaire, which is a brand of refrigerator, if you catch the reference that they make there. So OP, you know what you're doing, and you played freeze out with them. Way to go. You want me to print all of what at work? Click the video on your screen so you don't miss this insane story, and I'll see you there.